my shorts.
Yep. The Simpsons, as I was saying, we mentioned last week, because I think there's now more shit episodes than good ones.
Mm-hmm.
I probably watched maybe 15 seasons of it, and there's 32. I even think maybe the first 10 were great. 11, 12 were okay. 13 is where it starts to get really average. So I think there's more shit than good. So I pose the question, is The Simpsons a good show that went shit, which it was at one point, because it was a great show that went shit, but because now there's more shit episodes than good, does it now make the show a shit show that started really good? So I posed that last week, and we had a few people write in. Mr. Rap Steven says, I really enjoyed it as a kid, but over the years just stopped watching it less and less. I bet it's still funny, but those early seasons were just really memorable and enjoyable. Dino Blue says, the first 10 seasons are classics. The wheels started to come off in season 11 and 12. Really watch new episodes now. Kfig Customs. I stopped watching when the episodes started getting bad, so it's all good to me. Callum George, who's my mate from over in the UK, says, I can't watch a new episode without feeling disappointed. So really, this didn't really... No one really addressed the question. It was just an excuse to just rag on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But we did have one...
But it wasn't... Well, I still think it was a brilliant show that's gone bad, because if it wasn't for The Simpsons, you wouldn't have...
I know, but
American Dad
throwing away all that,
shit.
like how groundbreaking and stuff it is. You got to pose the question, as looking at the series as a whole, there is more shit than good.
Oh, yeah.
So it just raises that interesting question. But anyway, Bobby Walsh wrote in. Now, Bobby wrote in for the last one as well. But he's right here, and he's actually addressed the question here, and I think quite a good way.
Yep.
He says, I don't think it can be considered a bad show that was good because all the main talent left years ago. I don't consider The Simpsons to be the same show as it was in the golden era of the series. To me... if your show completely changes most things about it, you've got to take that away from the past because it's not the same. It's the same way I don't consider Chuck Jones's Tom and Jerry to be classic Tom and Jerry, because without Joseph and William, Hanna-Barbera, it ain't comparable to the original, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So essentially you've got Tom and Jerry as broken down into a bunch of eras where different creatives took control of it. Hanna-Barbera were doing the original shorts, and then they stopped making them for a few years, and Chuck Jones came in and did a bunch of shorts, and then he stopped making them, and then they went on to various other Gene Deitch and various other animation houses, but they're all still considered part of that classic short series, even though they were all even just vastly different in writing style, animation style. They're all very different things. But they're still under that one umbrella of the classic Tom and Jerry shorts.
Yep.
So do we look at The Simpsons as a show that has the early years of The Simpsons is one series, and then the later stuff is a completely different thing altogether?
Oh, God. I don't know how you look at it.
Because if you look at the Flintstones was on TV for decades because they kept rebooting it as a different thing.
But they've never rebooted this.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, right, you had each series of the Flintstones shared that same continuity.
Yeah.
So it was like the one thing, but it was broken up into various series, spin-offs and the later years, all that whatever. So do you look at, even though The Simpsons was never rebooted, can you look at The Simpsons that way, where you go, this is the early seasons, this is the original show, and then this is a new show, but they've kept it all under the same banner because it's just easier than rebooting or doing a new revival or anything. Because so many times over the season, they have revamped it. They've gone from cell animation to digital animation. They've gone from 4:3 to widescreen. They've changed writing teams, et cetera, et cetera. Particularly in these later years, you've got cast members moving out. People have died and they've retired characters. You have political controversies. Characters have been ushered out of the show. It is a very different show at very different points. So can you break it up and go, this is one
era, that's another era, that's another era?
Yeah, probably. And then almost look at each era as its own individual kind of spin-off, but it was just never
announced as a spin-off.
It just continued. So now what happens a lot with comics is you will have like the golden era run of like Superman, which goes from like the 1930s, and then that goes up to the 60s or the 70s or whatever, and they stop the numbering. So they might stop it at like issue 1000, and then they do a reboot of Superman, They do a completely new run of Superman comics. They start again from number 1, and then they go up to 100 or something. And then this is like 10 years down the line. They go, let's go back to the original numbering. So then they go back and they do comic number 1001, and then just continue on from there. So they've gone back to the original.
Stupid is that?
Right. So you've gone with the original numbering, which is inferring that it is part of the original run.
Yeah.
When it's not. It's like a reboot of it. They've just gone back to the original numbering. So can you look at something like The Simpsons as that?
Yeah, I reckon.
That's the way I like to look at
it.
And
how do you usher each out? Is it by writing teams, or is it by... Because all the voice actors really haven't changed,
voice actors are the same. And every time a voice actor has passed away, they retire the character.
Yeah.
So like all of... like the Troy McClure... what's his name? Oh, shit. The guy that died, comedian... his wife shot him.
Yeah.
Have I blanked on him?
Oh, God, I can't think of his
Why
name.
are we blanking on the easiest things today? Troy McClure. Actor. Oh, shit. Phil Hartman.
That's right.
So Phil Hartman died. They retired all his characters. We've had a few other people who've died and they've retired their characters over the years. But it's always a very distinct shift when they change a writing team.
And I mean, I noticed as well when they went from 4.3 to 16.9, there was a definite change.
Absolutely,
there. Definite change in the style of the characters.
Yeah. And they've dumbed down the characters over the years. The jokes aren't as funny anymore. It's just a complete
Well, they just
shell.
use the same jokes.
No, I don't even think it's that. I think it's just that it's just been dumbed down for a new audience. And they can't get away with what they got away with in the early shows, I think, now.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just it's like this common...
The
political landscape has just changed. And you can't get away with stuff that you did in the late 80s and early 90s. And I feel like... I just feel like the show has been dumbed down. Like, any of the newer shows I've watched is just... The storyline is Homer being dumb.
Yeah.
Homer fall downstairs, funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Homer crash car, funny. Whereas the original series were smart and clever.
Yeah.
And even now I've gone back and I've been rewatching the early ones. And someone who's older now, because I was a kid when I watched them over and over and over again.
So much adult humour in it.
Yeah, but there's so much, the adult humour and the depth of the characters. I watch Homer Simpson now and I go, this guy is a fucking awful character. Like, this guy's an awful person.
Yeah.
He's a terrible father.
Yep.
He is rude.
He's
arrogant. And I would look at him now and I think, this guy's like the worst.
Yeah.
Whereas a kid, I'm like, this is so funny. This guy's just a dumbass.
Yeah.
Right. But I feel like, there's this heart to the character. And he has a love for his family. And he loves his kids and his wife and he'll do anything for them. He's just rude and arrogant, doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of heart to the writing that they gave the character. But now it's like they've just attached to that Homer dumb. Yeah. Let's fucking laugh at him falling down the stairs and there's none of that really clever writing. It's just lowest common denominator. The show is so different.
And that's probably a lot of that's probably forced on them because of the political landscape.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that change. But I mean, like, the last 20 years of The Simpsons has been like this, has been dumb.
Yeah.
And even I was like probably 15, 16 when I stopped watching it. And even then I started realizing this show's gone so dumb now. It's not funny. It just gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
you can break it up into the eras. You've got different writing teams. You've got different.
I don't reckon that's where it changes with writing teams.
Well, wait, that's exactly where it changed. Because season 10 is when most of the original writers ushered out.
Yeah.
But then some of them came back for the movie, which was quite good. I liked the film, which was around season 19. And then that led into season 20, which was the first in widescreen, or 21. There's always a definite change.
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't watched them for years. I haven't seen new episodes. Who knows? Maybe it got good again. I doubt it. But it's still on. People are watching it. People must enjoy it. But again, it's pretty lowest common denominator, humour.
Yeah.
But even Family Guy's like that, lowest common denominator, but that's the point of the show.
Exactly right.
Like Peter Griffin fall downstairs and can't get up for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's funny, but that's the show.
That's exactly. And it's always been.
It's
like
always
that.
been like
It's
that.
always been like that.
Yeah, and you can laugh at because like this is just so stupid.
Yeah.
But The Simpsons was never the stupid show. It was always very clever and very heartfelt show. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so it's good. So thank you for everyone for weighing in. And Bobby Walsh, I like the way you look at that. You got different eras, it's like they've rebooted it, but they've kept it under that one umbrella just because.
Yeah.
It's probably a clever marketing thing, really.
Oh, for sure.
There's no new reason to go, new Simpsons reboot. There's no point.
No.
But yeah, I like that.
But and they haven't changed the numbering or anything on episodes.
No,
it's just continuous.
It's been a continuous show. And I think maybe probably even part of that is like, we're the longest running animated series in history.
Yeah,
keep it going.
Yeah.
Whereas the Flintstones would completely outweigh that because of the various different shows they've done. Well, maybe not. Maybe not, but the Flintstones went on for decades, but it was always reboot. And each reboot counts as a different show.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, if you haven't yet, smash that big old subscribe button up on your screen to keep up to date with all my content and hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media and please consider supporting me over on Patreon for as little as $1 a month for exclusive videos, early access content and to get your name up on the screen. Thanks again for watching.